Well, hi folks, I'm going to try and make a ginger jar type thing now. So it's going to be a sort of squattish jar with a little top on, and I'm going to throw a little flat lid, which is just going to be like an upturned bowl, is like the ones I've seen anyway. So I'll give it a go. I've never made one, so we'll just give it a try out. Got about 4 pounds of clay, 3.5, 4 pounds, so it's not going to be a massive one. I'll just get some of the thick stuff up from the top first. Just taking it steadily, and I'll do a first knuckle lift in a second. Collar it in and then do the first knuckle lift. As always, sticking the knuckle in, pulling up. Don't want to go too thin at the top because it's going to be quite narrow, so I'm going to have to collar it in, so I need to keep the strength there, so we'll just keep it narrow at the top as we go. Just narrow it in a little bit at the base because I want it a bit narrower than that. Just do a last little lift and try and shape it a tiny bit as we go. I'm not going to go too thin at the top. I'm going to start to collar it in. So actually, like I said, I must keep it narrower as we go so it doesn't flare out. So we'll just start to belly it out a little bit. Close the top in a little bit. A bit more water on, gripping inside. So the top of this thing's not going to be anything at all. It's because it's going to be closed with the lid. You won't actually see it when the lid's on. Try and flatten the top off a bit, get it a bit more sort of horizontal, if you will. So I didn't want to get it too thin, so it's still got a little bit of strength to it. Just clean the top off a bit. Just make a little bit of an insignificant top for the pot. Like I said, once I put the lid on you won't see it because the lid will sit over the whole of that. I'll just check the shape. Probably always try and get it a little bit higher shouldered. And that's about right. And again, just try and flatten the profile off so it's quite flat at the top. Because I've never made one of these, I'm just winging it really. So I think that'll do for the basic jar shape. And I'm just going to make a little flattish lid, like a bowl upside down, which basically just sits over the top of it. So I'll just tidy this up a bit, get it a little bit neater at the bottom. Sponge it down. Need a new sponge, it's wearing out this one. So that's just the basic little jar shape done, which I think is about right for what some of that I've seen. There's lots of different shape ones, but that's not too bad. We'll just throw a little top now to sit over it, and tomorrow we'll trim them all up. I don't know what size piece of clay to use. I'm just guessing, try that for now. So like I say, it's just going to be a little flat dish, straight sided. You can perhaps just slightly trim the top so it's a bit dome shaped. I'm not measuring anything, I'm just looking, trying to judge the size. Nothing fancy at all, it's just a very simple straight sided little lid which will be put upside down. So that should be about the right size. I'll just check it. I'll put this back on, I'll show you. So the idea being that that's the lid which sits over the top like so, and then you can trim that upside down, maybe make a little bit of a round bit, but we'll do all that tomorrow when it's dry. So that's it so far, just made the two bits and we'll sort it out tomorrow. Alright folks, I'm just going to trim this ginger jar thingy up, and then we'll try and fattle the lid so it fits on the top. I'm not going to do much to this, just try and turn a few of the throwing lines out. Still a bit on the wet side actually, but it's getting late in the day, so I'm going to have to do it now. I'm just going to do a little decoration on the cobalt. That'll do. See what that looks like. If I can find my wire. In fact, I'll just. Right, we'll get on and try and turn this little lid up. I've made it quite thick at the bottom, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and round it off. So it's got a sort of roundish profile to the top. So I'll just try and get a bit of it started before I cut it off, and then we'll flip it upside down and try and round it out a bit more. think that's about as much as I can do. Just need to get a little bit of clay. So I'll just cut that off. Take it off and then we'll put it upside down and try and trim it up that way. Try and line it up. Put a few globs of clay on just to secure it. And we'll give it a go. Should be pretty centred that, it's not too bad. So I'll try and round it off a little bit more on the top. Like I say, I've got plenty of thickness to play with. Not sure which sort of tool would be the best. Try this tool. See a few of them and they're just totally flat ones, but I thought I'd try and get a little bit of shape to this, slightly dome it. I'm not going to put a knob on it. You could throw a knob on the top, but the style that they seem to be is without a knob, so I'll just try and do the same sort of little bit of a design on the top. And that should be about it, I think. I'll take it off and see if it fits. Right, I'll just put the pot back on and see what it looks like. Find the hole. Right, we'll stick the lid on. The moment of truth. Does it fit? And what does it look like? I don't think it looks too bad in proportion. So that's my first attempt at a ginger jar with a lid. That's it. Done.